Around Kansas, brought to you by
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. Go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter. Hey, we're back. I'm sorry, but we just have a really good time here on this show. Now, we heard about an ox roast, but you're not going to tell us about a buffalo roast now, are you?
Honey, I'm sure they're roasting buffalo somewhere
Okay.
right as we speak. But,
All right.
you know, the buffalo, of course, that's the state animal or state mammal or whatever it is, you know, for the state of Kansas. And it's hard to imagine now what it must have looked like, you know, not that long ago, just 150 years ago when the buffalo covered this place. But, you know, they're making a great comeback. When I moved to Kansas, Noelle was just a baby. She was like 18 months old. And we go out to the State Historical Society in the gift shop, and Noelle pulled one of those little stuffed buffaloes off the shelf, and she carries it around with her. And I'm like, okay, she'll get tired of it. Well, she didn't. So I'm like, okay. So I got her the buffalo, and a little, you know, stuffed buffalo. So that was like her teddy bear. And she called it Bubba because she couldn't say buffalo, so she called it Bubba. And that was her teddy bear. That's what she slept with. And I thought, you know, that's appropriate for a little girl in Kansas to have her little pet stuffed buffalo. So we became Kansans pretty quick.
So let's see where the buffalo roam.
The buffalo. Once these beasts roamed the Great Plains from horizon to horizon. If the Plains tribes attempted to count them, there is no record. There were enough, more than enough, to supply food, lodging, utensils, sport. When white trappers, soldiers, and freighters arrived, the numbers were staggering, but exactly how many is that, and what did it take to diminish those numbers? We are still guesstimating. Some have asserted that there were so many bison roaming the Great Plains, and their demise occurred over such a short time, that hunting could not have possibly wiped out that many animals. Historian Rod Beamer disagrees, and has the research to back up his findings. Zoologists say the plains could have supported 28 to 30 million buffalo. Some historians have said upwards of 60 million may have lived here. While we can never know for certain, the Army likes numbers, real numbers. So General Phil Sheridan put his observation skills to the test. Traveling from Fort Supply, now in Oklahoma, to Fort Dodge, he and his party observed a great herd extending 100 miles in width. They had no idea how long it was. They were estimating that it numbered in the billions of animals. More conservatively, they decided it was 250,000. The demand for buffalo hides created a hunting spree that continued through the mid-1800s and very nearly left the animal extinct. The hides had so many uses, but the greatest number went to industry. They were used as belts to run the great manufacturing machines then dominating America's Northeast. Buffalo also fed the railroad workers, and this is where Bill Cody's hunting skills provided him with a handy living. Sheridan, on the other hand, was pushing for its slaughter, seeing it as an effective means of subduing the warring Plains tribes. One observer remarked, "It is estimated that there are, south of the Arkansas and west of Wichita, from 1 to 2,000 men shooting buffalo for their hides alone. Among those men seeking their fortunes hunting buffalo were Old West legends Bat and Ed Masterson and Wyatt Earp." Rod said the Kansas Pacific line from Kansas City to Denver was completed in 1870. These rails cut right through the heart of the big Central Plains buffalo pasture. The Santa Fe reached the Kansas-Colorado line in 1873. This facilitated the movement of supplies and hides to and from the hunters working in the southern herd. Though Rod documents disease and other natural factors, it was, in fact, the hunting of the buffalo that resulted in their numbers tumbling from the millions to near extinction by 1900. Conservationists took up the cause, and the animals' numbers have increased steadily since that time, though they will never again approach the numbers that Plains tribes would have witnessed in the early 1800s.
I'm Frank.
I'm Deb.
We'll see you
around Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.
And churned home